Hi.
Hi. It worked.
It worked. Hey, listen, thank you so much for doing this again. Anybody who's just
Of
tuning
course.
in, MorganEve did this a couple weeks ago, and something happened with downloading the video, and it was lost forever, and I was heartbroken, and I'm so glad you're willing to do another go round with me.
Of course. My pleasure.
And the last time we talked, you were at home in Warren, Rhode Island,
hmm
and now you have migrated, right? Where are you
I
now?
have. Yeah, I'm now in Connecticut. Um, my partner lives down here in Bethel. And last time we spoke, I was in quarantine in Warren because a friend of mine had gotten the virus and I had to stay away from here. Um, for, I mean, obvious reasons. But also my partner, is was diagnosed with brain cancer in December, and he's doing really well. I'll get that out there. But couldn't take any chances, and
Yeah.
yeah. So now I'm back, and I'm hanging out with my cat.
Oh, good. Hello, Kitty.
This is Eos. Yeah. So now I'm in Connecticut. It's nice outside. I don't know if you can see. There's
Beautiful.
daffodils. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to be together. This is the first week I'm keeping my cats out of the shot because I'm in the guest room right now, and
Mm.
it has a door, so they're upset. They're not
Yeah,
pleased
I'm
with me.
sure. Crying.
All right. So why don't you tell us who you are? You already mentioned where you are, but what you do under normal circumstances.
Under normal circumstances. I am MorganEve Swain. I am a musician. The let's see, uh, half of Brownbird, front woman for the Huntress and Holder of Hands, bass player, touring bass player for the Devil Makes Three. In normal life, I also work on instruments, fixing violins and rehiring bows. That's pretty much it.
That's all.
That's all. Yeah, that's it.
um, the last time we talked, you said that you had been gravitating toward happier music. Like I think you mentioned Buena Vista Social Club. Has that changed at all? What are you listening to
Nope.
a couple weeks later?
keeping things as fluffy as possible. um, yeah, I recently came across Angelique Kidjo, who does. I'm not sure exactly where she's from. She's African, and she did. I think it's a few years old now, but she did an entire album that is a cover of the Talking Heads' "Remain in Light."
Oh,
And
cool.
it is fantastic. Like I'm a huge Talking Heads fan, but her take on that whole album is like just like joyful. It's amazing.
Huh.
Highly recommend
What's
it.
the instrumentation like? I mean, what's her interpretation
I
look
mean,
like?
it's not unlike the Talking Heads like originals, but it's like definitely flavored by African like traditional African music. It's just awesome. Like, and it makes so much sense too. You wouldn't really think that like a bunch of like white art students from New York and Rhode Island would would like speak to an African musician, but it's just wonderful. It's beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's something you've just recently discovered?
Yeah, she actually was supposed to be performing it somewhere in New Hampshire, I think. A friend of mine and I were going to go and see her, and obviously that was canceled. So I spent the day listening to the album instead.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's canceled. I've kind of been asking people what would you have been doing today or this week or whatever this weekend if
Yeah.
this hadn't happened. Do you know where you would be right now?
I think I would be back home by now. I would have had a short tour with Devil Makes Three out to California. We would have been doing the Winter Wondergrass Festival, which I guess it was last month at this point. But yeah, this week life probably wouldn't have been too much different. Last week I would have done a short run with Last Good Tooth. Actually, I guess it's called Museum Legs now. um, same front person. That's Penn Sultan of Last Good Tooth. This new project called Museum Legs. We would have done a short run around April 5th, 6th, 7th weekend.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was a bummer
And
not
here
to.
we are instead.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to about when we're free to move around again?
I'm looking forward to my anxiety level coming down.
Mm, yeah.
um, yeah, that's like for me has by far been the biggest struggle. It's just like this unwavering anxiety, um, which it's I've dealt with anxiety my whole life, but right now it's like just it's like I'm like yelling at it all the time. Like, shut up. Like, I have this time. I'm healthy. I'm fortunate. Like I should be able to take advantage of my, privilege and good fortune and just, you know, be able to settle into being home and self-reflective and work on art and music and allow that to be. And it just, it's harder than you would think.
Yeah, these are not ideal circumstances for being creative, I don't think.
No, they're really not. Yeah.
Is that pressure that you feel like you're putting on yourself, or do you feel like there is an expectation that you're doing, outside of you that you're doing that, or?
No, I think it's mostly self-inflicted. Um, and I'm sure that everyone's kind of dealing with a similar thing. It's hard to settle down and really work on something when there's not really an end game.
Yeah.
Right now, that's how it feels. It's like, I really want to put out a new Huntress EP with the thought that when it's out, we'll be touring again. But I'm like, oh God, it's hard to know when that's going to happen. It's hard. I can't plan a tour right now, so it's just tough to, have that focus. At the same time, it's super important to, be thinking about the future and planning ahead, and have a plan for when this does pass, because it is going to pass, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. Without a sort of expiration date on it,
Right.
how do you really make any plans? And all the most difficult times in my life that were the hardest to get through and the hardest to manage my anxiety have been the times when I don't know the path forward.
Right.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how far out the thing is I'm trying to get to, as long as I know the way to get to it. And right now, who knows?
Right.
So I don't think you're alone in that.
Yeah, I don't think so either, which is helpful to know, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So how are you spending your days? Maybe a little bit different now that you're in a different environment than you were the last time we talked. What does a typical day look like at this point?
Yeah. I've been here for about a week. It's April is an intense month for me, anyway. So this past week has been, a tough emotional week. It marked the 6th anniversary of my husband's passing. Tomorrow is my birthday. So April kind of sucks for me anyway. So I've just been trying to like keep that in mind and be gentle with myself and like, understand that these are, different circumstances. But, I'm kind of trying to catch my stride here in a new place still. But generally doing all the same stuff, doing a lot of yoga and meditation, trying to get outside as much as possible. It's like amazing how instantly that changes my entire outlook on existence. So all of that stuff and still filling merch orders for Brown Bird, which, thank you everybody for continuing that. And yeah, here and there working on music when I can.
Every time there's a new, I forget which album you just had pressed to vinyl that you did pre-orders for.
Devil Dancing.
Yeah, and that showed up recently. Every time there's some new Brown Bird thing that I can get, I'm like, pounce on it real quick.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And I'll look forward to the Huntress EP when that time comes too.
Thanks. Yeah, me too. It'll happen and it'll be good. I'm hoping to kind of do it postal service style and send tracks out to my bandmates and
cool.
Do a little collaborative thing while we're in quarantine.
Tell us where everybody is, because you're all sort of geographically all around New England, right?
Yeah, most people are it's mostly Rhode Island and Connecticut now. I have kind of a revolving cast of characters for the Huntress. So I have one cellist who's in Providence and another cellist who's in Portland, Maine.
Mm-hmm.
my two different drummers. One is in Mystic, Connecticut. One of them is in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. And then the other two, my upright bass player and my electric bass player are both in Providence.
So they're not spread out too much.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
All right. So tell me how, either now in these circumstances or maybe always or some combination, how can we best support you in your creative pursuits?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is I'm on patreon.com, which is, if you don't know, it's a platform for various creatives, visual art, music, writing, you name it. And on Patreon, there's different tiers of support, from $5 to $100. And with a monthly, patronage, I offer cover songs every month, a little bit of writing, some photography of just kind of what I'm up to. It used to be just of my dog, but my dog lives with my mom now. But Patreon's definitely like the biggest thing for me that helps cover my rent. And it also kind of keeps me going as far as like having something to look forward to doing. Mm-hmm. I've done a lot of different covers lately. I've made a lot of them free just because they're like fun to share. So the last few have been, there's a John Prine song that's up, that's public, and there's a Bill Withers song that's public, both of which I'm very proud of and feel deeply. I also recently collaborated with the artist Will Schaff, who happens to also be my landlord. And he's the artist that did Fits of Reason and Salt for Salt and Axis Mundi, all the Brown Bird records. And we just collaborated on a t-shirt design it's a play on some Huntress lyrics, and it features his dog Dinner. And it's a great shirt. It's dinner dog with hands for ears, and a banner that says "Hold fast, keep steady," which is a Huntress lyric. And all the proceeds for those shirts are going towards helping us keep the house basically while we're both out of work. And 10% of what we make will be going back to RISCA, which is the Rhode Island, whatever the hell that stands for. Rhode Island fund that helps artists. They usually do grants, and right now they have a COVID relief fund. So we're happy to be able to give back to them.
I'm a huge Will Schaff art fan, and I suspect found him because of Brown Bird.
Yeah.
I ordered from Frog and Toad in Providence.
Yes.
A line of Will Schaff postcards.
Yes, so glad he's doing that.
Yeah, I got a few other things. I think this was from them too.
Yep.
Postcards with Dells.
Yes.
Rhode Island centric stuff. Yeah, we're 109 days from Newport if it happens. So I'm really missing Rhode Island and hoping that that's enough time that we can gather safely by then.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Since you mentioned Newport, worth it to mention that Newport Folk Fest also has a Musicians Relief Fund going. So any musicians out there who are listening in, worth checking out.
Yeah, and I'd like to say too, as somebody I have a foundation annual membership that I renew every year during the festival. I want to say, as a fan and somebody who doesn't make music, I'm a part of that community in a different way. You can contribute to the festival's foundation all year round. I went on their website when they announced that they were doing the artist COVID fund and made an additional contribution. Awesome. I think that's something, if you have the means, you should do that. It's open. The funding streams are open to all artists who have played Newport in the past. They're able to apply for that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Sure. I don't have much to give, but I think it's important to do what we can.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah. So where can we, other than Patreon, where can we follow you and find more information about you and your music?
I'm all over Instagram. I have 3 different accounts. Swain.MorganEve is my personal professional account. that mostly has everything, but it's a little more, a little more fun, a little more personal. And then the Huntress and Holder of Hands, which is very long, is also Instagram, and Brownbird Music also on Instagram.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then how about the Brownbird merch that you mentioned? Where's the best place to go with that?
Brownbird.bandcamp.com that's where everything is, and I ship it all out personally. It's all me. So please keep it coming.
I've seen you post photos of your mail packaging and
yeah.
It seems like you're busy with that, and I'm very glad to see that.
Yeah, definitely busy. But it's good work. That stuff keeps me going for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
So Billsville just
nice
in the chat says Bandcamp exclamation point jazz hands. Bandcamp's been good. They did that day where they waived all the fees, and a lot of the record labels did too. And I think that was a nice thing to do. I hope we see more of that.
Definitely.
I don't think one day is enough, but they're doing a lot. They did a lot more with that one day than a lot of other places to get music. So, all right. Well, is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
Not really. Stay positive out there. Go outside, exercise, breathe. Yeah. Thanks so much for doing this. This is always so fun. It's great that you're doing all these.
Well, I'm glad that not only that you did it, but that you've done it twice now. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Yeah.
And now we'll be able to download the video and share it a little more broadly so that people can hear what you have to say and how they can find you and support you. Awesome. Hang in there.
Thanks.
It's really nice talking to you. Everybody else, I'll be back at 2:00 with Chad Cochran, or Cowtown Chad. He's a photographer in Cleveland. He's in Ohio. And then at 3:00, I'll be talking to Brian Carroll from Redline Roots. Brian might be on the call here now. I thought I saw him pop up.
Hi, Brian.
He's in Vermont, and pretty secluded where he is. So we're getting a lot of different perspectives.
But he's all set.
What's that?
But he's got a sauna though, so he's good.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'll have to ask him about that. I figure we'll talk about maple sugaring a little bit too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. I sure will. Thanks again for doing this. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.